Hello everyone. Today I'll be converting an old vehicle I have to PTFE line. It seems like the new rubber hoses these days just doesn't last like the old stuff did. And from what I gather, PTFE line lasts quite a long time. This is crash course here. I watched a few videos, how-to on this stuff. And we're going to figure it out from there. I figured the easiest thing I'm going to do is start out with the factory end. I looked at what I got on there, bought a bunch of adapters, and I'm going to need a 45. So, bought a kit, came with a bunch of these little fittings. So, yeah, we're going to go with that. Since the factory end looks nice and square, we're going to go ahead and start there. I make a tool that goes in there, but my usual fashion, we're going to go cheap. Figure it out from there. What I gather, you can use a screwdriver anyway. Just kind of work your way around and flare it out. So far it seems pretty easy. Let's see if that's enough to get that little olive in there. So the olive's contained on this side. Here's your hand fitting. See how it sets all on there. Big deal. Let's take a closer look at that olive, since see how there's little barbs in there. Yeah, there we go. See little barbs in there. You can even see it's got this little shoulder right there at the end, so you can only push this close to flush. Which means that end's got to push in first. And you know what I screwed up, guys? Right off the bat. And I bet you this is something that everybody's seen me do, is I forgot to put this fan on before flaring. See if I can get away with kind of massaging that down. It's kind of catching on threads here, so. But I was able to get this tapered in to slide nice. Alright, good deal. So that wasn't too bad. Go ahead and just flare this back up a little. From what I gather, you see this piece has a little taper to it. Again, the flat face should go out. Ooh, I'd probably wear leather gloves doing this stuff. Just tap, tap. Maybe. Like I said, I've never done this style. So you're taking a crash course with me. Oh. It's almost down already. Oh, don't do that. What I'm trying to do is get it nice and flat on there, and I'm struggling. Oh, I see. See those barbs? So it's getting stuck on, so it's really important to get this on even. Wow. I had no idea. Can you see also I screwed it up? Look inside, folded it up. So we're already going to have to cut this off. So there is a little trick to it. Definitely not as easy as it appears. We'll go ahead and pull that out and I'll move on to the other factory side. We'll see if I can screw up both factory sides here. So off camera, I decided, since I screwed up an end and had to cut it off anyway, that I'd take the time to figure out how to cut it properly, or at least satisfactory. And let me tell you, that actually is a challenge on this stuff without ruining it. I sort of had success with a fine-tooth hacksaw blade, sorta. I kept getting stringers of the stuff here. Then I go and screw it up with the screwdriver, trying to pry this back, and learned, make sure you use a screwdriver that's not very sharp. Get your well-worn screwdriver out. And don't pry into the holes. Because, yeah, that could give you a bad time here. So, you want to pull away from the holes and actually use your hand. So you don't screw up your own holes. I'm sure anybody who's done a lot of these is probably laughing at how I'm doing this, but like I said, crash course here, everybody. And this might give me an expectation of what to expect first time. And you know what I'm going to try? There's a little oil on it this time. Since it looks like it bites in to the fitting. Kind of going slow this time and very slowly walking along. Hey, there we go. Better results than last time. Nice and bombed out. Excellent. And my fitting's on. Alright. Now the next part, putting this sucker on. I'm going to try oil since that seemed to help. Not putting much on there. This is just air compressor oil because it's convenient. I have it laying around. Oh. That's nice. So far so good, as long as I don't screw it up here. You're supposed to be able to just leave that on there. Which I find interesting design choice, but it's how it's supposed to be, they say. And I guess you're supposed to watch out and not get any of the stainless steel outsiding wires into these threads. But so far so good. Okay. It's starting to look like I'm getting somewhere. After failing several times, I think I finally got a method of cutting this damn hose. I've tried scroll saws, I've tried hacksaws, I've tried cable cutters. My cable cutters are a bit dull, so I could attribute to that. Tin snips, different varieties of blades, some with like 20 TPI, all the way up to 10. 10 cut it, but it just ripped the strands out, which wasn't ideal. So, what I ended up settling on, that's been working great so far, is something I should have just did right off the bat. A grinder with a cutoff wheel. Now that I've got that figured out through a million bits of trial and error, thank God I bought a bunch of extra hose to just experiment with. We'll go ahead and make this cut. Start off with some duct tape. Just going to center it on my line. The reason for the duct tape is it stops this line from flaring and you get a better cut. I did try without and it was not ideal. It's probably a little extra duct tape than I needed, but that's okay. Make sure it's nice and in there. Got held in a vise, not very hard. If I were to give this a quick yank, it'd pop out. I just need that third hand. Safety squibs. Let me try to cut as square as we visually can. A little slow that time, but that's what cut it gives me. And if I'm uneven, I've been able to get away with just kind of grinding it a little bit to get it even. Now how I'm fixing the stringers on this is I push it down. See how I kind of worked it there a little bit? This is when I get my tin snips. Very carefully snip the excess, because I don't want to snip the line below it. Go around, any stringers are sticking out farther than they should be. Just cutting off. See, like that one right there. It stuck a little too far. So we'll take our little tin snips. Just cut that off. There we go. We'll go ahead and try to get that forward and get our piece on. So here's our piece. Got your little olive or ferrule. Set those other pieces aside. Sometimes leaving this duct tape on can make it easier. As you can see, it's swelled out when I cut it. See that piece? Kind of start a little angle and I twist it. Sometimes those stereos will get caught on this little thread thing, so you'll see. That's why I thread it down, so it doesn't while I'm pushing a little bit. So I don't want to peel those pieces back. Alright, so here we go. Now, let's remove our duct tape. Okay, I see a few stringers up here again when I remove the tape. They're sticking out a touch far. I don't want those getting in the threads, so just cut them off. Then we take that little bit of fur in there, just kind of peel it out with my fingers. I noticed if I use a tool or a knife, it seemed like I had some issues with cutting into the line or swelling it, which makes putting that olive on that much harder. The reason I got this paper towel is I'm actually going around and any little grind matter, I'm just kind of wiping that off of there. See, we got a bunch of garbage here. And it just wipes right off because this is Teflon. Teflon don't care. Not much really sticks to it. Or PTFE, whatever you want to call it. And with all the manhandling I did, it's already popped my flare for me. A little air, blow out the junk. You can use an air compressor and whatnot. Like I said, they make a little tool here. I'll go ahead and show that to you. I didn't realize the kit I bought actually came with it. I think this is just there to make sure it's nice and round, and yeah. Honestly, I'm not sure what else to use it for again. First time. Some people say they need this. I haven't had to use it using the grinder. I used it when I did all the other cutting methods, but then I looked at and I redid those because I think if you scrunch that up, that you're going to have a weakened hose, so maybe I'm just being too fussy. With this olive, look in there, got the barbs. I don't know if you can see, but there is a ridge right on this piece. You can't push the hose all the way through. What I found is taking a little bit of air compressor oil, put a drip in there, spin it, and you see the air compressor oil kind of spin around with. Since my fingers are greasy, put it around there. Actually, before I get too far, I just noticed this isn't as straight as I thought. Pretty bad, so perfect opportunity to sit and grind a little straighter. That's a bit better. Just wiping off the crud. Make our oily mitts. Get a little oil in there. This taper piece goes forward. This is the hardest part, other than cutting, because that took a lot of trial and error to figure out a method that worked. I notice I'm trying to push it on straight, but sometimes it'll catch those little ribs, and then one side will go and the other one won't. So sometimes it'll feel like you have to walk it, but you gotta be gentle. So I noticed if I pushed really hard, I could actually kink the line. Oh, just like that, you seen how it popped. I don't know if you can even hear it, but you can even hear it pop. Okay. See right there? It's all the way down. See how it's got a little ridge in there to catch? That's what we're looking for. Now we got our other piece here. I'm sure this is probably where this tool's supposed to come into play, as it probably helps you get that set like that, but I didn't find I needed it. I found it worked just fine. Again, I just took barely any oil, caught it, make sure that's down, and I just kind of put it as straight as I can, give it a little twist. It should just pop right in. There you go. Another part you can screw up, so go ahead, push that down a little bit. You can get your fingers easily cut, so if you want to wear gloves, that's a good idea. So, hold this. I kind of am putting pressure of the hose toward this fitting here, because I don't want to pop apart my fittings. Get like that. Nice and straight. Everything do the work for you. Okay, got started. So, like I said, nothing fancy there. I'm just trying to make what I got work. So, at the point now where this can just stay in there. Go ahead, just tighten it down. Make sure none of those little wires get in the threaded part. But as you've seen, they were all the way on that ferrule. As far as I could gather and read, we're going to bond this out. And then it's done. You'll feel it bottom out because you'll be gliding along and then it just stops. So, we're bombed out. I don't try to snug it hard in that because I figured there's a lot of force on this fitting already. And you can give her a quick yank if you're not sure. Because you ain't going to pull that apart if you do it right. And we can even look in there if you want, but a lot of times you ain't going to see much without a flashlight. So, and we got one complete line. And hopefully a little bit of my screw up and trial and error can help you guys out there, because everybody who did this seemed to just make it look easy, and those are the issues I ran into, was getting that Teflon right in there, cut right, getting the outsiding cut right, how to cut it, because oh my god, were there a million opinions out there, and some of them didn't work, so I don't know if they were using the method different socket. I wasn't, but definitely the grinder worked great. And taping it definitely was one of those things that really helped things along. So, hope I helped you guys out there.